Hey guys, my name is Mavi and I've spent the last 14 years in the plastic surgery and beauty industry, working alongside top board certified plastic surgeons. In that time, I've helped thousands of women in their surgical journey. My passion to educate and help women feel empowered is what led to what we now know as the Big Butts, No Lies podcast. Join in on the fun as I talk to plastic surgery experts, friends, and real-life patients about all things plastic surgery. Should be fun. Hey guys, do I have the episode for you today? I know that you guys really enjoy hearing other women's journey, and I enjoy that too. So today I have a beautiful young woman, Jaime. She's a registered dietitian, and she's going to tell us all about her story from losing weight, deciding to lose weight, going through the weight loss surgery, and going through the skin removal surgery. This is going to be a good one for you. I cannot wait. Thank you, Jaime, for being on the show. I'm so excited to have you, and tell us your story.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited. I talk a lot about weight loss and nutrition and all that stuff, but I don't get to talk so much about, my plastics journey and focusing on that. So I'm excited. I guess I'll give a little backstory. So I have struggled with my weight my whole life. I suffered from childhood obesity. I was over 200 pounds at the time I was 9. My highest recorded weight was about 270, but I'm pretty sure I was close to like 290 pounds at one point. I decided to have weight loss surgery in 2017, and it surprises people because I was already almost done with all my schooling to be a dietitian when I chose to have weight loss surgery. I wanted to be a dietitian because I wanted to help other people who struggled with their weight. I also have PCOS, which is a hormonal disorder, which caused a lot of my weight gain. But, when I was almost done with all my schooling, I was like, you know what, I need an extra tool because even, despite my best efforts, I struggled really hard to lose weight. So I ended up having the vertical sleeve gastrectomy in 2017. That's one of the bariatric weight loss surgeries. And I ended up losing 112 pounds.
A whole person.
A whole person. And since then, I maintain about 100 of that 112 pound weight loss, and I'm in maintenance phase now. And, when I was at my very lowest weight, I definitely, I felt, for lack of a better word, deflated. This happens to a lot of people who lose extreme amounts of weight, especially quickly after surgery. And I don't think I had anticipated some of the struggles mentally with this, because in my head, I grew up with, obesity. I never knew what it was like to be in a body that wasn't overweight. And I had just kind of, I was naive, and I kind of just assumed that once you lose weight, you're happy, or once you lose weight, you feel better about your body. And while I was so much healthier, I felt so much better, I still felt kind of sad because, even at my lowest, when I had all the loose skin, I still wore a bikini. I was really excited. And I kind of just forced myself to put myself out there because this is what I had wanted for so long. But I definitely got discouraged, especially like going into dressing rooms and putting on like jeans that would have looked super cute, but I had tons of skin spilling out of the top. Or honestly, like just being totally transparent, like going bra shopping was horrible. Between all the skin on my back and my sides and all of like the breast tissue I had was completely gone. So like a lot of that was just really disheartening because I felt like I had accomplished so much and I had done such a great job on my weight loss journey and I felt so much healthier, but I still didn't feel confident or like my journey was done.
A lot of the patients that I would see in the office for massive weight loss or for weight loss skin removal, this is the same, story I would hear from them. And which is why weight loss patients are my favorite patients, because they have already put in all of that work and all of that effort, and they're still not seeing like the final result in the mirror. And once they get that final result in the mirror, oh my God.
I think one of the struggles, so I'm going to be super transparent.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I thought that once I had my plastic surgery, especially my first round, because I only planned on having one round of skin removal, and I'll kind of get into that. But I just, again, a little naive here, assumed once I had my skin removal, I'd be super happy and things would be great and my body image would improve. And I've been very honest about this on my social media page, that my struggles with body dysmorphia actually got worse after my first round of plastic surgery. And it actually did not get better. It declined. And I think the reason for that is I had this idea, like once the skin was gone, I would be, quote, done. Or I kept convincing myself, and this is a body image thing, looking in the mirror, I'm like, oh, well, once the skin is gone, once I, have my tummy tuck, I'm going to look so thin under there, under all that skin. I'm going to be so little. And then I had the skin removal. And I'm like, wait, I don't look like what I thought I would look like, or this, my body image didn't improve right away. And I think part of that is plastic surgery, in my experience, is not really a one and done thing, especially when you're struggling with loose skin on your entire body. Because once you tighten up one area or, quote, like fix one area, other things that maybe didn't bother you before stick out so much more. And I described it to people as I kind of feel like Frankenstein or Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm like, I'm just kind of patched back together. My body feels kind of foreign. And things that didn't bother me at all before, now that something else has been smoothed or tightened, is now more apparent. And it's been a huge struggle for me mentally. And while it's overall been positive and I'm really happy with my choices, I don't think I expected the mental struggles with plastics the same way I may have anticipated it a little bit more with the actual weight loss.
That's super interesting how you put that together, because we in the office will tell our patients, remember, your eyes are scanning for imperfections when you are looking in the mirror. And as soon as you fix one, you start from your head and you go like, zzz, you're going up and down, looking everywhere. And you have, for example, for a lot of women, it's our abdomen. So we get stuck. Oh my God. Or our butt or our flanks or something. And we get stuck on it. And as soon as that gets fixed, our little scanner keeps going. Oh, okay. Well, that's fixed. Now let's go to the next thing. Zzz, keep scanning. So it's really interesting how you figured it out yourself. That's what's happened. That's happening a lot.
And for me, I kind of just thought I would have one round of skin removal, and I'll go into like all the surgeries I've had. I never anticipated having more rounds of skin removal, but that's kind of where my journey has led. So one of the questions I get all the time from my audience and people who follow me is people, and I primarily work with bariatric patients. People will say, well, how far post-op should you be to have skin removal? Because like, when is it the right time? And I think that's different for everyone. But typically, like my bariatric surgeon recommended waiting till you're at least 2 years post-op, because your body keeps changing. You want to make sure that you not just lost weight, but navigated maintenance for a while. So I was 2 years out from my weight loss surgery, and I was maintaining around, not quite my lowest, but like maybe like 6-7 pounds up from my lowest. And I had maintained there for quite a while. So I ended up having my first round of skin removal and plastic surgery. I ended up doing an abdominoplasty. So a tummy tuck, we did muscle repair, and I did a breast augmentation. I did not do a lift, just implant. And when I love my surgeon dearly. I went on a few consults, and he's the one that I ended up sticking with and I've stuck with for my other surgeries too. He had said, like, you have enough skin that it might be worth doing an FDL. So a fleur-de-lis tummy tuck where there's the vertical incision.
So let me just tell our listeners two things real quick. One, we usually recommend for patients to wait about 18 months or 6 months of stable weight. 6 months, 18 months or 6 months of stable weight before you start looking for skin removal.
Yeah,
and the fleur-de-lis is a vertical scar. So from your chest, so up like kind of above your belly button, up all the way down, and it turns into a T. So it's a long T, up vertical between your breasts, down to your belly button, to your pubic area, and then a tummy tuck scar, which is across hip to hip.
Exactly. And when I was going for this first round of skin removal, I Me and my surgeon went back and forth because my surgeon is he doesn't think we should do unnecessary procedures, which I appreciate. And he had said, he's like, well, you do have plenty of skin up top that you would probably benefit from doing an FDL. But he also took into consideration that personally, at that time, I did not want that massive scar because, it doesn't look quite natural to the natural eye when you're looking at it. It's a huge incision down the middle of your body. And we decided ultimately, okay, let's go with the abdominoplasty because he's like, I think I can get it pretty tight. You might be really happy. Like, yes, you do have skin, but we ultimately decided on the abdominoplasty. And at first I was really happy, or I thought I was. It's also worth adding, I ended up having my first round of plastic surgery, which was the breast augmentation and the abdominoplasty on March 11th of 2020. And the state of Connecticut.
Was it during lockdown?
No, so I'm in Connecticut, and the state of Connecticut shut down on March 13th. So I was the last elective surgery at the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
I got it just in the nick of time. So it was a challenge with post-op appointments and all that stuff. But I healed. It went great. I had zero complications. And I was happy, but I kept looking in the mirror. And again, this is when my body dysmorphia kind of sparked. And I felt like I looked kind of boxy and square, for lack of a better word. And it really was because I probably should have listened to my surgeon and opted for the FDL because I did still have skin up top. But I kept kind of telling myself, I'm like, well, I'm swollen. Well, it takes 6 months to a year for it to all settle. And I waited, right? And especially with the pandemic, like the last thing that was on my mind was another plastic surgery. But I waited. And then in the summer of 2021, I finally said, okay, I'm going to go back to my surgeon because throughout this time, I started working out a lot, especially once gyms opened back up. I joined a CrossFit gym. And for the first time in my life, I was really gaining muscle. So this is interesting because people are like, well, did you lose more weight and get more skin? And my answer is no, I actually gained a little bit of weight, but I was working really diligently through 2021 on body recomposition, meaning losing fat, gaining muscle. So my number on the scale is a little bit higher, but my jean sizes got smaller. And with that body change that I wasn't anticipating to do, because my weight loss piece of my journey was done, but I ended up getting stronger and my body was changing. And I think that resulted in even more skin on my stomach again. Mm-hmm. So I ended up with just so much skin that it was causing body dysmorphia issues too, because I genuinely just had a lot more skin left over. So I went back to my surgeon and he agreed. He's like, yeah, we should probably do the FDL. And his philosophy I really like because he'll do up to 2 procedures at once. He won't do more than that, but it is more cost effective if you still have more skin to remove to kind of do it at the same time because you're already paying for OR and anesthesia and all that good stuff. So it would only be minimal in terms of like fees to do other procedures at the same time. And he said, he's like, would you want to get rid of the side skin that's, around my bra line? And I was like, oh my God, yes. So originally we were just going to take off skin from the side, but he was like, you know what? Because he obviously gave me his opinion. He's like, you have a ton of skin on your back. And I don't think I ever realized, and he wasn't trying to say you look bad or anything, but he's like, I think it would make a world of difference to just get rid of this. And I don't think I ever realized how much skin I had on my back because it's not an area you look at all the time. I never anticipated to get rid of the skin on my back, but when I tell you it has made all the difference in my body shape and actually seeing what my body looks like, it's incredible. So we ended up doing in October of 2021. So just, 6 months ago, we did a revision on my abdominoplasty to an FDL. So now I do have the big vertical scar. And then we did a full bra line back lift. So a huge incision it wraps around from
like a bra line.
It's it's your whole bra line. My surgeon doesn't usually weigh the skin. I don't know. He's kind of old school. He's not super fancy. I don't know how to explain it, but
you'll have to give him a shout out at the end of the episode.
I actually don't publicly share who my surgeon is, so I probably won't do that. And that's just for personal reasons. He doesn't particularly want a social media presence. And just because I have so many people following me, it's a personal thing. So I just don't, okay. I don't publicly share. And he's respectfully asked me not to put him on social media. So I don't, but he's like, we took a ton of skin off of you. So that surgery, he said, he's like, we took so much. I don't know how much it weighed again, but I know it's made a huge, huge, huge difference. I will say though, I did have one small wound that opened on the top of my FDL. And he said it's common with FDLs because it's a longer procedure. You have compromised blood flow sometimes during the procedure. So I'm very fortunate. I scar very well, but I did have kind of like I don't know, part of the scar above my belly button was a little bit thicker. We also noticed after a couple of months that part of the FDL, like there was still a bit of skin, like he could have gone a bit tighter. I also ended up with a dog ear on my right side of my bra line, which I don't know if you want to explain like what a dog ear is.
So the dog ear is where your body meets the table. Like they can't go any further than where they are without flipping you. So usually that's where they close, and it's very common and it's not a big deal at all. They can usually take care of it in the office. It's a super easy procedure. They just cut it out, sew it back up.
Absolutely. So he said, he's like, we could take care of the dog ear just in the office, like you said. He's like, but if you want, we could put you under again and we could, revise that scar where it opened up on the top of the FDL and get that last little bit of skin. And I was like, let's do that. And naturally, because I was going under again, and he said, it's like, while we're under, is there anything else you'd like to do? I will just say, this is what I mean when I say this is not according to plan. So because this was revisions, he was luckily covering the expenses of doing those revisions. So also for cost reasons, I was only paying his surgical fee if I wanted to do something else. So we decided this is a last minute, maybe it's not a great idea to do spontaneous plastic surgery decision, but I ended up deciding to do a brachioplasty while we were under there. So we just did my arms. And this last round of revisions, which was for the FDL, the dog ear, and then my arms, we just did, I think 9-10 days ago. So I'm currently recovering. It was on March 25th. Oh, and now I'm done. But so this is, it ended up being that it made sense for me. I didn't have horrible loose skin on my arms. The one area of my body that I always thought I would get done, and I'm deciding at least right now I'm not doing, is my legs. I have a lot of skin on my thighs, and I always thought I would do that before the arms, but I don't know, the recovery process for doing thighs kind of scares me, and it just kind of made sense to do my arms, and that's what we did. So I've had in total, I guess, 6 procedures, 3 rounds of surgery, and that was not my plan.
And, let me tell you that your case is not unusual. Most women who go through massive weight loss surgery and have multiple areas of concern will break it up into 2 or 3 sessions until they're done, or until they're like, you know what? I'm good. I feel good in my clothes. I feel good when I look in the mirror. I'm done. But arms, inner thighs, of course, and abdomen, breast are like top of the list for massive weight loss. So it's not uncommon. Don't feel like, oh my God, I had so much surgery, because a lot of women do.
Yeah. And I think I will say, I tell people when they ask, like, I have a very high pain tolerance, even with muscle repair for the abdominoplasty, the FDL, the back lift. Like, I never feel like plastics is horribly painful as it is uncomfortable. But I will say, I did not expect arms to be this hard. I'm like surprised and shocked that the surgery I thought would be the most minimally invasive has been the absolute hardest recovery for me. For whatever reason, the arms has been really tough. And I think it's mostly just because of the swelling, and the swelling I've experienced in my hands and my fingers has been beyond uncomfortable.
Yeah, the swelling from a brachioplasty is no joke, especially because you're in the garment. And so your garment also works for you and against you at the same time, because if you have the short sleeve the garment that ends at the elbow, your swelling will go to your hand. Is that what's happening?
So, okay, again, my surgeon is super old school. Like, he doesn't usually recommend garments or like fajas. He's like, you can move to those if you'd like to, but he prefers us the first 2 to 3 weeks to be in right now I'm wearing like a abdominal, like a binder. He has us wear like a clean t-shirt. So right now I have like a cotton, clean, just long sleeve t-shirt, and I have my abdominal binder over it for the FDL revision. And then I literally have like tightly wrapped ACE bandages going from the top of my arm down to my wrist. So I look like a hot mess.
ACE bandages for brachioplasty recovery are perfect.
Yep.
I love them better than a vest. I like them better than a vest. If you're just doing a brachioplasty and you're not doing liposuction anywhere else, I would rather have them wrapped at my, disclosure for how tight they are. Of course, you don't want to do it too tight, but instead of wearing that whole vest, sometimes those vests get hot.
Yep. And again, like I've had a lot of friends in the bariatric community go through plastics, and it's interesting because every surgeon kind of has their own protocol. And I do feel like my surgeon is just more old school because he's always like, nope, clean, like cotton shirt, binder over it. And again, I had a little wound. It never got infected. It healed great. But other than that, I've never had any complications, and my scars always look beautiful. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not messing with this. I'm just going to do exactly what he says.
Yeah.
and trust the process.
Absolutely. And you know what? In these episodes, I hope you guys have, my girls, I hope y'all listen when I tell you, if your doctor is recommending you to do something and you went to him after looking at his before and after pictures, listen to your doctor, because why are you changing his recipe? If he has a recipe that works, do not try to change his recipe. And I know a lot of patients are like, oh, but I want to do this. And I heard somewhere over here and this doctor over here does this. And what about over here? And it's like, okay, well, then you don't trust your doctor.
Exactly. And it's the same thing for bariatric surgery, because I say the same thing to my audience, and people are like, well, my surgeon said to follow this after surgery, especially in terms of diet or whatnot. But my friend had surgery and she's doing this. I'm like, it doesn't matter what your friend is doing. You listen to your surgeon.
Exactly.
And so his other protocol is, after surgery, he has you all bandaged up. He has the binders over it. And for that first 5 days, 5 to 7 days until you have your first post-op appointment, he doesn't want you taking the bandages off. He doesn't want you showering. It's disgusting. You feel nasty, but he doesn't want them getting wet. But then I've had friends who are like, oh, well, my surgeon told me to shower the next day. You should just take a shower. I don't understand why he does that. I'm like, you know what? I don't understand why he does it either, but it's his protocol and I'm just not.
But I'm following orders. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly. So as uncomfortable as it is, and I will just say, especially, my last surgery in October and this recent one, I've had to go 5 to 7 days without showering in the binder. And just because of where the incisions were from my back lift and with the brachioplasty, he doesn't want you putting deodorant on. And when I tell you, you just feel like the nastiest human on the planet sitting there without deodorant, not being able to shower. You can obviously use towelettes and clean yourself up or whatever, but you just feel
it's
so
not the
nasty.
Same. It's not the same.
There is nothing better than the first shower after a week of recovering from plastic surgery. Nothing on the planet.
I agree with you. There's nothing like that first shower. Oh my God. It's almost like, when I had my first shower after my plastic surgery, I remember getting in the shower and thinking okay, I can do this. I'm on my way. This is the first shower. I can do it. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm still all bruised. I'm like, close my eyes. I'm going to do it.
I will say it's been freaky looking at the arm incisions, particularly my left arm. My left arm looks a little different than my right in terms of swelling. So it almost has that rippled look to it, where it looks super tight and it's ripply, and it freaks me out and makes me cringe and I can't look at it. But I will say, just looking at my FDL scar, especially since he just revised it, it literally brought me to tears this week looking at it, because I'm like, my stomach looks so good. Even with the scar, I know it's going to heal beautifully. And again, I'm very fortunate that just genetically, my scars are near invisible everywhere on my body. You can't see them. Not only does my surgeon cut very thin, which is great, and his work is great, but I just scar well. So I already can tell just by looking at this incision right now that it's going to be near invisible soon. And it just makes me so happy. I'm so, as hard as each recovery has been and as much of a process as this has been, I'm very, very grateful for it, because it's, like I said, the first round of plastic surgery was the opening for all of this, and it's what started it. But having that abdominoplasty was not the right choice for me. I really did need this FDL in order to have the results that I wanted.
I would love that you're telling us this, because doctors have this discussion with patients, with massive weight loss patients, almost on a daily basis. And you are not alone when you opted for the tummy tuck instead of going for the full FDL, because I almost feel like you have, you're I'm going to get my stomach done. How am I going to show it off with this incision. But these incisions, remember, they fade. They're only really, red or purple or pink for the first year. And then after that, they look white. They look skin color. They fade into your skin if you take care of them.
And what's wild is because again, my last surgery was only in October. So we revised the top of the FBL, so the part above my belly button this last round, but the bottom of it, he didn't touch. And that incision from October, when I tell you it's already invisible and I can't find it, it's already invisible and I can't find it. And I'm just, again, fortunate that when I scar like a very, very light color. So, and I try and tell everyone that it's a lot of it really is dependent on your body. But looking back, like I'm just so grateful that I chose to do this revision because I genuinely just wasn't happy with the abdominoplasty because I just had so much skin.
I'm happy that you're telling our girls to listen to this. I do have one question for you because, for the last, I don't know, my whole career, we often get women in the office looking for liposuction or a tummy tuck, and they are not at the appropriate or healthy weight. So, of course, there's requirements. There's BMI requirements, which are now getting stricter. The anesthesiologists across the country are getting stricter with these BMI requirements. So one thing that I struggle with is patients coming to me looking for plastic surgery when they're not at the right weight. And I feel like I do not want to offend anybody whenever I tell you to go see a bariatric surgeon first and then come talk to me. Because what I want is for y'all to have a great result. I want y'all to have good results that last you, for a long time. If you're coming to see me and you weigh 260 pounds, for one, I probably cannot find you a surgeon who will do it. For two, it's more risky. There's a lot more wound healing complications. There's a lot of more risk involved with higher BMIs. So tell our girls, when was that moment right before you decided to have your massive weight loss surgery or bariatric surgery? What was the moment that you were like, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it?
So I don't know that it was any one moment that led to that final decision. But like I said, I struggled with my weight my whole life. And there's this huge misconception and stigma around weight loss surgery that, you're taking the easy way out, or you're cheating, or you don't want to try hard enough. Like it's a horrible misconception, especially in our country. And it's not true. The thing is, obesity is a disease. People argue me on that all the time. And it's not just because you don't think it's a disease doesn't mean it's not categorized as one. It is. Obesity is a disease and it's a complex one. And so many people try their very best to lose weight. And despite their best efforts, just like myself, again, I use myself as an example because I was finishing up school to be a registered dietitian. It was not for lack of knowledge or lack of trying. My body genuinely fought me tooth and nail between, my PCOS, hormone issues. Like there's so many reasons why we struggle with obesity. And weight loss surgery is the gold standard for treating morbid obesity. There's a lot of, again, misconceptions of, everyone will just gain their weight back. That is not true. The other one I hear is, it's so dangerous. Risk for complications after weight loss surgery are less than 4%, and risk of death via weight loss surgery is less than 1%. It's about as risky as getting your appendix taken out, just for reference. The thing is, most people who have weight loss surgery, statistically speaking, will lose anywhere from 60 to 77% of their excess weight and keep 50 to 60% off long term. So there is a little bit of rebound weight, which is anticipated. And that's 85% of bariatric patients will lose 50 to 60% long term. It is the best approach that we currently have to managing weight loss. And the reason I mention all this is plastic surgery does not treat obesity. There's a reason why insurance companies typically don't cover it. It's because bariatric surgery is not a cosmetic procedure. It's the same way plastics is. And if you are going to a plastic surgeon for a non-plastic surgery related issue, it's not going to get you the results because you can't just, be at a obese or morbidly obese rate and expect to have your weight troubles solved from plastic surgery. It's just not how it works.
Absolutely
so
not.
My moment of, okay, I need an extra tool, I need weight loss surgery was years upon years of trying and struggling, because I had lost 70 pounds or so before my weight loss surgery. And I just gained it all back without even going back to like bad habits. It was just my body was fighting me and I could not keep it off. And I knew that if I wanted to have the life that I was only 24 when I had my weight loss surgery. So I was fortunate that I did it younger in life, because when I tell you, I get to live my life to the fullest. I am healthy. Part of the reason I did this was because I want to eventually have kids someday, I think. And with my PCOS, that wasn't in the cards for me, honestly. I struggled to walk across campus at college. I couldn't just go out and do things. The fact that now, like, I want to go do things. I want to socialize. I do CrossFit and I go for runs, and it's freeing, and it feels so like I feel so much better in my body. And that was true even before plastic surgery. Yes, plastic surgery has been like the cherry on top for me, but I still felt so much better physically, knowing that I had, lost that weight. That was not just frustrating. I think there's also this misconception that people only lose weight to look better. And there's a lot of discussion amongst the body positivity community, and even, like, to be completely transparent, some hatred from that community in that regard. But it's more than just looks. It's truly about health. And if you're still struggling with obesity and you haven't tackled that yet, it's just not time to do plastic surgery. It just doesn't even make sense.
Thank you for saying that, because they don't listen to me.
It's not going to solve the concern. What's going to happen, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but you might have a little bit of liposuction and something might be a little bit flatter, but you're still probably going to struggle with obesity, and you're not going to be able to maintain the results of your plastic surgery if that's the route you take. Because again, they're different issues.
The thing is, if you are, for example, let's say you are 230 pounds, and y'all have heard me talk about what happens when you get your work done. To some of us, it happened to me. I told y'all after I had my surgery, I gained weight probably about 18 pounds after my surgery, because I felt good. I looked good. I was happy to go out and hang out with my friends and drink and eat with my ex-husband now, but we would go out to eat all the time. And it was just, I was living my best life. But so y'all know, I talk about this very openly, how you can gain weight. So let's say you're 230 pounds, you have a tummy tuck and you have some liposuction. Your shape will be there, but if you gain weight, you will still look bigger. You will continue to get bigger. It might not be how your stomach was before, where you had like skin that you could flop up and down. It might not be like that. It might be intra-abdominal fat now, where you look pregnant, you look bloated. When you stand sideways, you look wider, thicker, like more.
I think you're still going to be, just being honest, like you're still going to be plus size. You might just have a flatter plus size belly or something like that. And I think it's important also, because I know you said like 230 pounds or 200 or whatever pounds, it does go by BMI. And especially I want to talk about that for a second, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Being in the bariatric community, those who have struggled with obesity long-term tend to still carry more weight, not all the time, but a lot of the time. So for example, your bones get stronger if you carry around a lot of weight a long time. Or for example, technically, my BMI, I think I go anywhere, because I fluctuate between the same few pounds at this point. I fluctuate between a 29 and 30 BMI. My surgeon still does surgery on me because weight and BMI is not always exact. So for example, like I said, I've done a lot of body recomposition where I carry a lot of muscle. So I'll just be super transparent on here. I am 5'4", and I range anywhere from 172 to 178 pounds. So right around that 29, 30 BMI mark. However, I wear a size 6 jeans. So my body is still smaller, even though technically I weigh more. So I think there are still surgeons who take that into consideration.
They do. They definitely do.
And again, I've been in this 175-ish pound range for a long time now. So my surgeon absolutely still performs surgery on me. So I think if you're someone who is, if your starting weight was 400 or 450 pounds and you're at 230 pounds now, you might still have a higher BMI. But one, that skin does weigh a good amount if you lost that, if we're talking extreme weight loss. And there still are surgeons who will perform surgery. And if you're someone who is at 400, 450 pounds or more, and you're maintaining at 220 to even 250 pounds, that might be your new set point. And that might be where you land. And I don't want anyone to feel like they, maybe you have a 32 BMI. I don't know. Doesn't mean you can't go on consults, because there are surgeons, especially like my surgeon specializes in post-bariatric skin removals. So like, I know he takes that into consideration. So I think when we're talking about the bariatric community, or those who have experienced like extreme weight loss, is different than the average population. And I just think that that's important to point out, just because I don't want anyone to feel like they can't ever go on a consult because they're not
the right way.
At a certain
you are
weight.
absolutely right. Thank you for pointing that out, because like I tell you guys, when you go to your consultation and you might say, oh, I'm going to go have a consultation because I look like this other person that I know and they went and had surgery. And I talked to you guys in a previous episode about how the person might weigh the same, but when you lift up their shirt, it's a completely different. If it was a 50-pound weight loss, that tummy is going to look different than a 50-pound weight gain, even if they weigh the same. So it is absolutely a case by case. Your surgeon has to lay eyes on you and know, like, okay, this is a skin removal or this is a fat removal. If there's a lot of fat from a weight gain, it's very different.
And right. And again, it's just so different. Like at this point in my journey, like I'm very athletic. And even though I did like a TikTok recently where like this girl was like, stitch this like to show your height and weight and like what you actually look like, because those numbers vary so much. And when people look at me, they're always very surprised to be like, oh my God, you weigh 175 pounds and you're like 5'4", like there's no way. And I'm like, no, but there is. Like, I carry my weight differently. I struggled with obesity. Now I have a lot of muscle, because people are like, there's no way you wear a size small or a size 6 jeans and weigh, quote, that much. And I think that's where weight, the number on the scale alone doesn't tell the whole story. And in a perfect world, would I love to see that number lower? Sure. I'm working on my mindset with that. But I know, like, okay, I'm healthy. This is where my body is. And my BMI or the number on the scale does not tell my whole story.
Because you have your blood workup, you have, I'm sure, labs checking you out to make sure that you are
Absolutely.
at a healthy weight.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So,
I can back squat over 200 pounds. Like, my goals are different than other people's in terms of like what my body, not just what my body looks like, but what my body can do. And on my personal journey, what my body can do and is capable of is a huge, huge factor for me.
Absolutely. So tell us, what have been some tips? What tips do you have, like recovery tips for patients who could be going through the same journey for either a skin removal or the fleur-de-lis, brachioplasty? What are some things that you have learned through your journey?
I've learned that you have to be patient, even though it's an instantaneous result from like a cutting perspective. It's a long, long road for healing. So just understanding that it's going to be many weeks, if not many months, until you're really feeling better. One of the things that's really hard for me is as soon as I'm like a week or two from surgery and I feel better, I'm like, oh, I want to go do something. And then I exert a little too much energy and I'm flat on my back. Like, it's a hard process. One of the ways I always prepare is I like to set up whatever I can ahead of time. So I'll usually like before surgery, clean the house, change my sheets, make sure that anything I need is like in my recovery area, which is usually a chair in my living room. So like I'll have my laptop there. I'll have my book there. I'll have whatever I need like right there. And I also will I'll do like a grocery haul. I'll get really easy, like ready prepared food. So whether that's getting like, I don't know, some deli meat or like egg cups, something that's high protein, which also protein foods help with healing. So making sure I have enough of the things I need in the house. It just helps me feel better knowing that having what I need is right there.
Absolutely. I know recovery area preparation. I'm going to make another episode with a video because there was a lot of questions about how to set up your recovery area.
Can I give like my number one best tip for like recovery products?
Yeah, recovery products. And also, how did you sleep? Because I think sleeping in that first week is almost impossible if you're not taking your pain meds. And a lot of women opt to not take the pain meds because of the constipation and all those things. But
I'm that person who opts not to take the pain meds because one, I do have a high pain tolerance and they make me nauseous. I will say though, for the first time ever, this last surgery with the arms, the first 2 days, I was like, give me the pain meds. I don't care if I'm nauseous. My arms hurt so much. And that's a lot for me. So, because normally, but then after the first like 2 days, I did switch over to Tylenol. So you're right. It's really hard to sleep. I know some people will like rent like a recliner chair, but in my house, we have, it's just like a chair with like a big ottoman. It's like a big comfy couch. It almost looks like a very small love seat. So I always sleep on that. And then for every plastic surgery I've had, someone, I don't remember who, and I thank her, whoever she is, who had messaged me on Instagram way back when, but had suggested getting a maternity pillow. And I used the same one from October in this surgery, but I did have a different one for my very first round in 2020. But what I do is I spend a decent amount of money. I go to Bed Bath & Beyond or go online and get one of their really good quality maternity pillows, one of the U-shaped ones. And what I do is I prop that up on the chair because it ends up supporting your head, your back, your arms. It's almost like a little cocoon. And then you can like tuck the arms of the maternity pillow under your legs. And it's literally the perfect setup. I've also been wedging other pillows under my arms this last time. And I will say I did transition to my bed much sooner. I spent about a week on the couch, and the last couple of nights I've been in my bed just because, I'll be honest, like my tailbone just can't take it. That's one of the downfalls of like losing weight is that like my tailbone hurts laying in that position for too long. And that's something to recognize is, again, plastics is not so much painful in my opinion as it is super uncomfortable because you're so limited. But I swear to God, I think every human being, not just pregnant women, deserve a maternity pillow because they're so comfy. But having that pillow has been an absolute game changer for all my recoveries.
I love that. Okay. So you guys know, I've told y'all you can sleep on your bed. I slept in my bed during recovery. I wish I had a maternity U-shaped pillow because just how you described it, I'm imagining that is the perfect pillow to sleep on. The big one.
Get a good one because I ordered one off Amazon and had to go buy a good one anyway because the Amazon one was not plushy enough. Like get a good quality one. Bed Bath & Beyond always has those 20% off coupons. You still will probably spend over $100, but when I tell you it is worth every penny when you're recovering, it's worth every penny. And it's funny because like right now I had it on the chair, but now I've been taking it up to bed. And my poor husband is like all squished over the other side of the bed because I have this big ass maternity pillow in bed. But like I will honestly, like I will sleep with that for weeks, even beyond the point of needing it, just because I like it. And I'm not pregnant, I swear to God. Like it's just a comfort thing. You feel more supported. Yeah,
they're good pillows. I'm imagining myself with one right now. Because I like to sleep on my side with a leg in between my legs and a pillow at my head, like on my side.
Okay, then you need one.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, I need one of these pillows.
They're amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. So that's my top tip.
Top tip, maternity U-shaped pillow for a tummy tuck or any type of recovery. Even a BBL kind of, because y'all know I had my tummy tuck and my BBL at the same time, which I know a lot of y'all don't agree with, but my fat lived and it did great. Pillows underneath your lower back, pillows underneath your knees, suspending your booty in your bed, like where your whole body weight is not on it. It's okay if your butt touches the couch or the mattress, as long as you don't have like the whole weight of your body on your booty, you should be fine. And let me tell you that finding a comfortable position to sleep in that first week is priority, because if your sleep is crappy, you're going to feel crappy. You're not going to recover well.
The other thing is, especially like after surgery, the first like week, especially even if like physically you're not in like horrible pain or you're feeling okay, you're sleeping a lot during the day. Like I needed so many, it's just from the after effects of anesthesia, especially after my FDL, the first one in October, because that was the longest between the back and the FDL together. That was a very long procedure. I think I was under for over 5 hours. Like the effects of anesthesia were really strong that first 1 to 2 weeks. And I was taking tons of naps, and like, you're kind of going to just be like in and out of sleep a lot in my experience. And having that pillow just made my life a lot, I don't say a lot easier. It's a hard couple of weeks, but if that's the one area that gave me comfort, then that's worth it.
I love it. Okay. I'm reading some questions that we could. So what did you do during recovery to keep yourself busy?
So I watched a lot of TV. Okay, on a normal basis, I don't ever watch TV. My sister like loves TV, loves TV shows, and she's like, "What do you mean you don't watch TV?" And I don't know. I'm really bad at resting. I can't sit still very long on a normal basis. Like you're never gonna find me on a regular old day like sitting watching TV or anything because I'm always doing something. But with recovery, you are really forced to just lay there. So this last recovery, I watched Bridgerton. I've never even watched the first season. I watched both seasons of that. I started watching Euphoria, which is a whole really interesting world.
I need to get into that. I need to get into Euphoria because I'm hearing about it everywhere and I'm so lost.
I don't know how I feel about it yet. So one thing about me, and anyone who follows me knows, I am a huge, huge Disney fan. Like I am considered a Disney adult. Like Disney is like a way of life for me. So lots of Disney. Okay, Disney is the one. Disney Plus is on at my house a lot, but like I'll put it on in the background while I work on something or clean or whatever. But I actually sat and like watched some Disney movies because that's just who I am. So one of the things I was not expecting, again, I feel a bit like it was very naive of me to not expect the swelling from my arms. But like I anticipated the swelling to happen in my arms. I wasn't anticipating my hands to be so puffy. Like they were huge and hard to like, the first couple of days, I couldn't even really move my fingers. So like I couldn't even really like go on my phone. Like I couldn't text.
Oh.
So like I was it was hard for me to text and use my phone. At one point I was trying to read my book and I literally couldn't hold the book very long and gave up. So if you're going to have your arms done, and maybe this is just me, maybe this is not everyone's experience, but at least prepare yourself. And I think that's the problem. The other surgeries, I was prepared mentally to be limited in pain. I was not prepared mentally for the limited use of my hands those first few days. And that was really hard.
You know, I think that is something that we kind of take for granted because I remember during my recovery, I wanted to wash dishes.
I don't ever want to do that. So
I wanted, like my mom was here helping me recover and it's just something about sitting down while somebody else is doing something for me that is really hard. Even if it's my mom, it doesn't matter. Like I struggle, with that I struggle with relaxing enough to like, okay, yeah, mom, you fold my laundry, you clean my house. Like I struggled with that so much. And I think we don't really think about that. Like this feeling like my brain is working. My thoughts are semi because I did go online shopping while I was on pain meds, but that's another story. My brain works and I just can't get up. I want to do stuff and I just can't. Ugh, that was the worst part for me.
For all my recoveries, I've had my husband helping me and I think it's like, it doesn't bother me so much to let him do everything. He's really, really good though. And anyone, again, I've shared this on my page before. Like I hate cleaning anyways. Like my husband generally does most of that anyway. So I'm very fortunate and very grateful. So, but it's humbling because you rely on people for everything. Like even getting up and down from the chair, like I needed my husband's help to help me like settle back into my chair and get comfortable again, like for everything. So if you're going to have plastic surgery, one, you definitely need to have someone like with you for recovery, at least for the first week, I would say. And, you want to go based off what your surgeon says too, but you have to be willing to ask for help and let other people help you. And one of the things was like I couldn't even empty my own drains because I had the way the drains were placed on each arm. It was almost like they were pinned to my bandages, but I couldn't reach them. Like my husband had to empty the drains because I could not do it myself with where they were positioned on my arms.
Oh, I see. And then you have limited, squeeze. You can't really squeeze them all the way. You can't really use your hands.
Right. And it was like, I could empty it okay. But you know how you have to squeeze it with one hand and then close the top of it with the other? Like that was impossible. I couldn't do it.
Well, at least you had your husband. So how many days would you say for you with the brachioplasty that you really needed somebody with you?
At least a full week. And he had only planned on taking, I had my surgery on a Friday and I planned on having someone with me, like maybe Monday. Like he wasn't going to take off much time. And last minute, he ended up applying for FMLA to get like a week and a half off. So he's home with me today still. And honestly, even though like today and the last like 3 days, I've been way better and can get up and I'm like working from my table right now. And, I'm okay. I'm still so grateful he's home because even just like let the dog outside or to help with things is I have a couple of calls today. I'm working from home, obviously, but by 3:00, I'm probably going to have to go lay down on the couch.
Oh yeah. Like I can tell y'all, whenever I had my second surgery, my round 2, and I went back to work the next week. So I had my surgery. Don't do what I do. You do what your doctor tells you. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I had my second surgery on a Wednesday, and I went back to work on Monday. I had lipo revision and I had a breast reduction with an augmentation, but I was working with my surgeon and I was a coordinator. So my patients knew what I was going through. Like I'm here. I'm in my faja. I'm in my garments, but I'm here. Mm-hmm. By 2:00 that first week, I had to go home. Even though I would go to work and try. By 2 or 3 in the afternoon, like my energy levels were on the floor. I had to lay down on the couch in our consultation room.
Honestly, I'm the same. I mean, I don't have to drive to work. Luckily, like I have my own business. I work for myself, but if anyone who works for themselves knows, you kind of just work 24/7, and taking actual time off is very hard. So like, I obviously didn't do anything the first like couple days. I had surgery on Friday, but by that Wednesday, I still showed up to my client calls on Zoom, and I was laughing because my husband has FMLA, and I'm like, well, I'm working more than you right now. It's not true. I was laying on the couch with literally like on my chair with my maternity pillow and my pillows propped up under my arms and my laptop there so I could show up to my clients. And I know realistically, if I had to reschedule or block out my calendar, my clients who I work with would not be upset at all, but it's just the way I am. So I also am the type of person that, again, like I said, I don't do well, like just sitting there. I'm not great at resting. TV starts to make me really bored. So to actually sit there on a Zoom call and like work was actually a good distraction from how uncomfortable I was.
I love hearing that from you, because one of the questions that I get is, okay, like realistically, could I work from home that second week? And my answer is always like, if your job is something that mentally stimulates you and you can sit and do it from your computer, or if it's phone calls, or, it's something that can keep you busy. Yes. If it's something that you have to like physically leave your house and drive to work, and you have to be on your feet all day and you can't come home until the evening, then no. But if you're at home, yes.
Even if you work a desk job and it's a sedentary job, driving to so one of the things my surgeon tells me is, because my question is always, when can I drive? And his question is like, well, when do you feel comfortable to drive? And right now I can tell you, I still don't feel comfortable to drive, even though I'm doing so much better. And his rule is, if you wouldn't drive with a baby or toddler in the car right now, don't drive yourself anywhere. And honestly, like I would never drive right now with a baby or toddler in the car because my reflexes are not where they need to be. So I'm still not driving myself. So like driving is a huge concern because your reflexes are slow. You can't really turn. And that's scary. But also, even just sitting upright at a table or a desk all day is exhausting after surgery. And that's what I mean when I say like it takes so much energy out of you. So unless you have the option to like work a half day and then go home and take a nap, even a desk job, I think is exhausting.
I agree. So really, anything that you have to leave your house, no. But if you can work from home, work from your laptop, work from your phone, work while you're laying down, or, during breaks of recovery, when you wake up and you feel energized after you eat and you're like, hey, I can take on the world now. Then, yeah, you can do a little work from home. But other than that, take the full 2 weeks if you can.
Yep. And I was joking. I always joke because it's like I can't be away from my chair for too long. And on Friday, I was officially a week out. We went to Target. To get out of the house, I needed a couple things, and I kind of just shuffled around Target for like an hour. But when we came home, I was like, okay, that's enough. I've been away from my chair and my maternity pillow for too long. It's time to lay down. And it's true. It's like an hour or two of just doing even minimal things. Like, it's wild how I think it's just really eye-opening how hard plastic surgery is on your body. And I mean, weight loss surgery is hard on your body too for a multitude of reasons, but it's a very different type of recovery.
Jaime, before I let you go, before I finish this, I do want to ask you a question, because one of the things that I hear from women who approach me for surgery, and I recommend bariatric surgery, and one of the things that I hear is like all the negative things. My hair is going to fall out. My face is going to look bone. I'm going to look, old. I'm going to look deflated. What do you say to those women who those are their fears? I'm going to look old. My hair is going to fall out. I can't eat.
So bariatric surgery is not for everyone. Yes, it's the gold standard for weight loss, but it's hard. You are changing your whole life. There's even like a level of a grieving process, because even if, you can eventually eat more food, and I eat a normal, well-rounded diet now, and you will get to that place eventually. But the first 2 years, you're losing a lot of weight. Through your whole journey, even beyond 2 years, you do need to take vitamins. And yes, you probably will lose hair. And it's not because weight loss surgery is dangerous. And as long as you're hitting your protein goals and taking your vitamins, your hair will grow back. It's just your body needs vitamins and protein for all of its essential functions. And when you are having limited amounts, hair and like nail growth is like the least of your body's concerns. So yeah, you'll probably lose hair. But what's more important to you, your long hair or your longevity and your health and being able to live the life you always dreamed of? And I tell people, like, yeah, you'll probably lose hair. It'll be emotional and a little shitty, and you might have to like cut it short as it gets stronger, but it grows back. Like my hair grew back beautifully. Yeah. And, I'm going to look old. Some people do have, it's kind of like a, I almost describe it as like puberty, right? You go through an awkward phase after weight loss surgery because, like I said, statistically, people lose 60 to 77% of their body weight, and then they usually gain a little bit and maintain 50 to 60%. So there is a little bit of rebound weight. And when you hit that absolute lowest point, you might look a little sunken in, like your face might not look quite the same. You might look a little bony, but that's not forever. And it's actually really hard for people to accept that they will gain some back. But the thing is, you will gain weight back. If you are moving your body and exercising and maintaining your muscle mass, there's no reason why that has to be the case either if you're getting your protein in. This is the thing though. Weight loss surgery is not a cosmetic procedure. It's for your health. So in order to have weight loss surgery and be a candidate, the benefits have to outweigh the risk. And you have to want it. It's hard work. It's not just this easy process. But if you look at pictures, I can even show you, like if you look at pictures of me at my very lowest, when I had the skin, when my hair was very thin, when I had kind of that sunken in look, like, yeah, it's kind of that awkward sort of stage. But I've gained about 12 pounds back from my lowest. I've had skin removal. My hair has grown back. And honestly, I look so much healthier at a little bit of a heavier weight now than I once did. And it's a process. I'm 4 years out, and I'm so glad I did this because, yeah, it sucked to lose my hair for a year, but it was worth it. So it really depends on what you want and if you really want this.
And if you really want to change your life, because with weight loss surgery and also with plastic surgery, these are lifestyle changes that you're making. This is not, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to go right back to what I was doing, because then it completely like X's it out.
Right. And the same thing with weight loss surgery, like, sure, you absolutely can gain all your weight back, and people do. And I also don't ever want to shame someone for that, because oftentimes, maybe we didn't have the support, or maybe you didn't have the education, things happen. So I never shame someone who does gain their weight back, because it's a reality. But if you are really in this and you are getting support and you are following what your surgeon says and you're trusting the process and you're actually making the lifestyle habit changes, there's no reason why you can't maintain your weight loss long term and be healthier, feel better, just improve your health overall. And then, plastics is not an option for everyone for so many reasons, but if it's an option for you, then maybe you do go have skin removal, or maybe you do work on gaining muscle mass so you don't feel so awkward in your body. I'm just very passionate about talking about the positives of weight loss surgery, because people like to demonize it and make it sound like it's this horribly dangerous procedure. And sure, there are risks, and I'm not minimizing anyone's experience who's had, risks pop up or have had struggles. But for so many people, it's such a beautiful option to allow you to live that life. And so many people are so offended when weight loss surgery is recommended to them. And I think it's because people automatically think of shows like My 600-Pound Life, and they're like, oh my God, that's not me. I'm not there. But the truth is, if you have a BMI of 35 or higher with comorbidities, or a 40 BMI or higher, you likely qualify for weight loss surgery.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that they already qualify. Okay.
Yep.
So, Jaime, if some of our girls who are listening, maybe they're not ready to take the step into bariatric surgery, but maybe they need help, gaining, losing, or gaining weight, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. So I would love if anyone listening to this wanted to, even if you're not really considering weight loss surgery, but you want to know more about it, and understand more about it and not just the misinformation, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at the Sleeved Dietitian. And that's because I have the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. It's not because of my tattoos. And if you have questions for me, I always tell people you can DM me, but unfortunately, as much as I wish I could keep up with every message I get, I sometimes miss them. So if you have a question that you really want to ask me or want to reach out, the best way is to email me. And if you go to my Instagram profile and click the contact button, it'll bring you right to my email.
Perfect. So the Sleeved Dietitian.
And dietitian was with a T. There's no C in dietitian. I have to point that out because everyone's like, I can't find you. And it's because we spell dietitian wrong.
Got it. Dietitian. And you guys, if you are considering plastic surgery, but you're not at the right weight yet, reach out to Jaime and let her help you get to where you need to be. And then you come back to me. Then I'll help you find your surgeon.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for having me on today. This was really, really fun to get to talk about all things plastic surgery related.
I love it. Thank you for being so open with us. Thank you for telling us so much about your journey. Your transparency is, what we crave and what we want from our fellow people in our community. Just be transparent. Oh, because I know y'all are wondering, I'm 5'2" and I weigh 153 to 160 pounds, depending how I live.
Yeah. And I think it's, again, not everyone feels comfortable sharing their weight just based on like my journey. I always kind of share it. And I hope my whole point is to normalize things that aren't normalized. And so many women just think that the number is the end all be all. And it's not. It's not.
I'll tell y'all my weight before I had my surgery. The day before I had my tummy tuck lipo 360 BBL, I was 168. And then I gained weight. I got to, before I started losing, this was just recently, maybe like a year ago, I was at 174 when I was like, oh my God, my butt is out of control. I cannot be walking around with this big old thing.
I wish I had that problem because if there's one place I can't gain weight, it seems to be my butt.
And that happens for massive weight loss. I see it all the time for massive weight loss. They're like, please, can I just get some fat for my butt? Like, you lost all your fat. We have no more to pull.
That. I feel that. The number is not everything. And I tell people this too. Normal, especially people who have gone through extreme weight loss, struggle to see the number change or go up or whatnot. And while we never want to see a continual upward like regain trend, normal human bodies fluctuate. Even people who've never struggled with their weight or have had to lose weight, normal bodies do not stay the same weight every day, every month, or even all year long. So it's totally normal. Like I said, I fluctuate between a few pounds, probably like a 6 pound range, and that's okay.
And that's okay. And you're okay with it. I'm okay with it. We all just need to start being a little more accepting of what goes on with us and understand that this happens to other people too. I think we get stuck in this, like, this only happens to me, or maybe I'm the only one that suffers from this, or maybe I'm the only one that has to deal with this. And that could not be further from the truth, because if you're struggling with it, I can promise you there's 100 people in your close circle who have the same thoughts, who have similar feelings.
Definitely not alone. No, 100%.
You're never alone. And now, you have Jaime and you have me. So anything you need, you can reach out, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thank you so much.
I would like to end this episode with a huge thank you to all of our listeners. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe to Big Butts No Lies Podcast and follow us on Instagram at Big Butts No Lies Podcast. If you have a topic you want me to cover, please send it to the DMs. If you know anyone on their plastic surgery journey, be sure to recommend them the show. You can also visit us on our website, bigbuttsnolies.com. You'll see the online surgical recovery store. We're adding new items all the time. If there's something you think I need to have on there, send me a DM. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget, new episodes every Monday. I'll see you then.